So, listen, I was making six figures at my dream company right out of college, and I was the most unhappy I had ever been in my entire life. And look, I know how that sounds, right? I had the salary, I had the title, and I was working at my dream company. So, how the heck was I actually unhappy? Um, I was thinking to myself, if this is the very definition of success, why the hell do I feel so empty inside? Um, just so you know, this isn't some kind of rage quit type of story. I worshipped being in big tech. I worshipped my dream company at the time, and it was only through some pretty dark times that I've realized that it wasn't what was actually the best fit for me. So stick around and I'll share a little bit more about myself, my experience, and how you might be able to avoid the same mistake or escape if that is something that you're looking to do. So I'll start by introducing myself. Hi, I'm Char. I'm new to YouTube, so go easy on me, y'all. I've been writing on Substack for a little while, but I decided that, it's a little bit of an easier medium to digest for some people, the videos, right? So I wanted to make sure all the content that I was releasing was digestible for as many people as possible. So I decided to make a YouTube channel to fit that goal. So I'm going to start by kind of describing how I got into big tech. I actually was really just enamored with technology from a pretty young age. Also really, really good at school. I made straight A's. I really enjoyed school. I really enjoyed learning. And so at the age around 14 or 15, I was like, okay, I really love technology. I know I want to work in technology in some way, but I don't really know what I want to do. And so I started back in high school kind of looking around and trying to figure out, like, okay, if I'm going to be in technology, what the heck am I going to do? And I ended up discovering, I believe in 11th grade, the world of computer science. And I am not going to lie to y'all, I absolutely hated it at first. Like, I was like, I don't get this. This is weird for me. And after about 6 months or so, I just kind of started to catch on to it. So I started coding pretty early on in my life. And I was really lucky actually that I got a computer science teacher who is a woman. And I didn't really understand actually going into any of the pursuits that I went into that women were basically a minority in the field or underrepresented in the field of technology. Because I had a woman as my first teacher and my, introduction into the world. But I say I was really lucky because she actually really believed in me. And shout out to Miss Ryan from North Crowley. She was really just a phenomenal inspiration for me to actually follow my dreams and invest more time into learning more about tech. I took her class and I remember the following year, my senior year, I had the chance to either take computer science 2 or I could take like a really difficult like pre-college math class. And I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and take comp sci 2. While I was in that class, it was my senior year, my teacher actually recommended for me to apply to this program. And this program was essentially like a little boot camp for emerging college students, university students, to go build web apps. And this was with my dream company. I'm not going to name them in this video, but this was with my dream company. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to apply. And I don't know if I'm going to get in, because chances are probably slim, but whatever. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. Turns out they gave me a call. And I interviewed and I got in. And so I went into the recruiting funnel for this big tech company. I went to this camp and I had the absolute time of my life. And from then on, I was like, I'm definitely going to make it into my dream company. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to, break in. And I ended up applying for an internship at that company the following summer. I didn't get it, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try again next year. So I tried again. And lo and behold, they accepted me into the internship program after my second year of college. And in that internship, again, had an amazing time. I actually was in New York for that internship, so it was like my first time really like living outside of my family home. And I just had an amazing experience. Like this company really does a great job of curating, at least at the time that I interned for them, they did a great job of curating the intern experience. So it was like really attractive, I'll say, for the intern. And I ended up returning the summer after my junior year as well. And based on my performance for those 2 internships, I actually got a full-time offer without having an interview. So I was like, holy hell, like this is everything that I wanted to accomplish, right? I got a software engineering position at my dream company right after graduating from college. It took me 4 years to get my bachelor's degree in computer science, and I was just over the moon. So ended up graduating and immediately going into the workforce. I think I had like 3 weeks of vacation. So I get there and, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, just got my computer science degree. So I'm just really excited. And after having these 2 internships under my belt, I believe, that I have what it takes. I have everything that I need to succeed in that environment. Ended up moving to Seattle, where I am currently still reside, to, start my employment with that company. And this is where things kind of at least started to take a turn for me. So I started and I didn't really receive the same guidance as I had received in my internships. And looking back, I can understand, of course, it's a different experience being a full-time employee versus being an intern. What I didn't realize was how big the support differential would be. But I knew, like, because of the narrative that I was kind of working on, like, as long as I work hard, get the job, then everything's going to be okay, right? Or so I thought. About 6 months into my employment in this dream company, I started to realize, this might not be for me. I was going to work and just feeling drained after each workday, feeling like a fish out of water almost, like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to really accomplish any kind of goals. I didn't feel like I was provided with any kind of guidance at the time. And I can remember, I can recall asking my manager, asking my direct supervisor, what am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do here? Because I'm not really getting much. And I recall at the time, like, not really getting much of an answer in response. And so at the time, I had grown up and really relied a lot on my grades. I got a lot of accolades for that. And I went into this industry really believing, like, okay, as long as I work hard and am able to demonstrate, that I am capable of doing the work, I'm going to receive the work, and everything's kind of going to just fall into line, fall into place. And for me, that's not what happened. I literally fell deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole, into a depression that I had never experienced before in my life, because I was placing so much emphasis on the job, so much emphasis on what everyone thought about me, everyone in a work environment. And mind you, this is while I'm Black, I'm queer, and in a primarily white institution, so I'm getting stared at in the halls. I'm not really able to connect with my coworkers, so I felt completely and totally alone. I did not feel like I had any kind of support system at work. Luckily, at the time, I also did, have a support system outside of work, so that's what really kind of held up what little remains of my mental health that I had. But it truly wasn't enough. I actually had to end up taking time off of work in order to get my mental health right. And it was during this time that I kind of realized, like, there's just so much ambiguity in that job. And to me, the ambiguity was kind of masked as, oh, you're, given this autonomy without being provided this support system or like this roadmap for success. One other thing that I can kind of remember is like how freaking terrified I was of those performance reviews. Every time they came around, I felt like I was having a panic attack. And it was so prolonged too, like for weeks leading up to the performance review from my manager. I would stress about it and agonize over the results. And whenever I received the results, I would agonize and think to myself, like, am I not cut out for this? Is this work, am I not meant to do this work? Am I not meant to be here? Am I not supposed to be here? And I literally started to shrink myself. And I can remember times when I would literally go to the bathroom and just cry, because I just needed to have a moment alone to myself where I could actually feel my feelings. And so for me, what really kind of nailed the hammer in the coffin for me is I would kind of get tossed from team to team. So I remember going through like 3 different teams in the process of my employment at this dream company. And this wasn't like restructuring. It wasn't like how it was now. This was back a few years ago. And so it wasn't like downsizing or anything like that. I was just talking to my managers, asking for support, not getting that support, and then being told, oh, you're going to this different company. So I didn't even get enough time to digest or really, how would I say, I didn't get time to really get my feet wet with any of the teams that I was on. I just felt like I was constantly treading water, and I, could go under at any moment. Always afraid of losing my job, always afraid of being found out for being an imposter, right? And it actually started to affect my personal life quite a bit, like losing my sense of self, losing my sense of worth, losing access to that creative force and my natural joy. And I knew it was kind of time for me to walk away when I was having a conversation with one of my managers. It was my last manager. He was definitely one of the worst managers I've ever had in my entire life, if not the worst. And I remember saying to him, like, hey man, like I've kind of had enough at this point. It's about 2 years after I had started my employment, and I told him, I feel like I've learned everything that I need to learn about this organization. And I remember him laughing in my face and saying, like, there's no way you've learned everything that you need to learn. I've been here for, X amount of years, and I don't feel like I've even, touched the iceberg and learning everything that I need to learn here. And I was like, that's the difference between me and you. Like, I've learned what I need to learn about this organization, and I don't really know where I fit in here. So, I realized I had to go, and I left with no real safety net. I left with no real plan, and it was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really know what I was gonna do next, but I knew that I needed to step away. And I think this one thing I want to kind of emphasize is like normalizing that terrorizing fear of walking away from a situation that you know is not working for you. I really genuinely believe that leaving would cost me like my status, any kind of predictability that I had in the structure of my life. I believe that I would lose the approval of like my family members, my friends, and there's some folks who I think that I did, unfortunately. And for me, it was just like a lesson seeing like who really is there for me and who is there for this like grand idea of who I am, or a grand idea of whatever they think my journey should be. But I realized, when I was walking away, that staying would have cost me my spirit, my health, my future, honestly. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, leaving was terrifying. And if I could go back and do it again, I definitely would have done it a little bit differently. Stick to the end and I'll let you know how I would have done things a little bit differently. But I will say it was not like an instantly peaceful process. Like, I still agonized after leaving, thinking to myself, was this a good idea? Did I just ruin my life by choosing myself, by choosing what I believed would be best for me over what society, would have written for me, written for my story? And so I ended up choosing that alignment for what I felt my spirit needed over the prestige, over the title, over the salary. And I want to make it clear that this isn't about hating big tech or anything like that. It's really more about refusing that outsourcing of one's self-worth, especially to an employer. I felt like I had lost my sense of purpose in the burnout. And now, through a pretty rigorous like mental health journey, I now believe that my work should support my life and, never consume it. I also remember at that point, like, I viewed rest as some kind of reward, and that is something that, I'm still working on for sure, but is constantly a thought in my mind, like, rest is my divine right. Trisha Hersey taught me that, and it is something that I greatly value at this point in my life. I also learned, I mentioned earlier that my personal life was not in shambles, mostly because of the community that I had at the time. And I'm so grateful because I was really taught that, community is a real safety net, building a net that works. People's Institute of Survival and Beyond taught me that. And I really want to, put a call out for anyone who, would describe themselves as a high performer, but maybe you feel numb, or you feel like your identity is being marginalized and that you're just like lucky to be in the room, or for anyone who may be afraid to leave because they feel like they don't have another choice, or there's nothing else out for you. Like, I need to affirm here that you're not broken. Your discomfort is just a signal. It's just information, right? And I want to leave with a few of my takeaways from that time. Number one being, form a plan. Like, especially in today's economy, I don't think I would have been able to afford or really even handle the break that I took. It was like 4 or 5 months at that time. If I didn't have some kind of reserve, savings. And now it is my understanding that like the job market takes up to like 36 months, so up to 3 years to find a job now. So if you don't have 36 months in savings, definitely would say hold off. But number two, definitely find people who are there to hold you and support you during this interim time where, you may be trying to secure another position. You may be trying to wait until you have enough savings to accommodate this change, accommodate the exit that you are wanting. And number 3, let me see. Know that you're not alone. Know that, the golden handcuffs, so to speak, they're mostly mental. And what I would really encourage you to do is continue to have honest conversations with the folks around you who may be more understanding of your perspective, of your point of view. Definitely subscribe, because I'm gonna be releasing more videos talking about my experience. And if you want a little bit of a sneak peek of what I'll be talking about, I'm gonna leave my Substack link in the description as well, and you can read a little bit more about my ethos. And you can also take a look at my coaching packages, because I'm just now opening those up. But my hope really is there to help folks find an understanding of the systems and the mindsets that may be preventing them from approaching their dreams, really living their best, most liberated life. So I appreciate you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.